away Renata. They've left that open, they banned it in game 2. Kalista's locked in, Kalista Renata. That's their answer to Varus. Will it work is the question. What is T1's response here? Do they go for some kind of melee support into this Renata? Do they play Varus Karma to try to contest the push? The problem with the Karma is you don't have lockdown onto the Kalista. So Aatrox is up, Sylas is up, Ryze is up for Faker if he wants to blind pick it.
There it is, looking at double poke here. More aggressive fight over the priority in that pushing bottom lane. If you go with something like Leona or Nautilus, looking for the all-ins, looking for the kills, immediately picking up for Faker, though. The security of the team fight is here.
I wonder if something like Thresh could work. Kalista's very hard to hook. Karma will get the push, but I think she'll fall off. It makes sense. That's the default answer. As you expect, they're just going to go towards it. No Thresh shenanigans to be had. No Zeus Yone, no Aatrox blind pick. DRX have found a different response, and this draft will look a lot different in terms of side lanes.
Yeah, I mean, the pushing on the bottom lane has just been so critical. They don't want to give it up. And now, though, the confidence of Zeka, this champion, he has mastered both the Sylas and the Akali sides of it. It's a big part of DRX's handle on the meta that got them here. Confidence to lock it into Faker again. Last time around, he actually had more CS, even with all the harassment from the Azir.
Great ultimate to take away as well. Varus ult is just going to be so powerful through throws.
Yep.
There's a Yone ban, so I think T1 might have to ban away Aatrox. DRX might look to pick Aatrox up on 4 here. A lot of powerful champions up and available. Camille, Fiora, Aatrox. We're looking at champions like Graves, Viego as well. Kindred is up for Pyosik as well if he wants to look for that angle.
Well, with Aatrox banned away, when we talked about last game being another no tanks kind of matchup, you guys said how it was Aatrox that wills that into being because he creates a carry versus carry style. Now with him banned away, with Yone banned away, we might see some big frontline for the first time in the series.
I agree, especially if it's Poke, Varus, and Kalista, two champions which really struggle to get tanks down. They need to be careful though, picking Ornn for T1 against Sylas, you just give them that engage onto your mobile carry.
And they ban away the Kindred answer to the Graves. So it's up to DRX. Looks like they have Graves is wide open. That would need to have Zeus on something with CC though, because if they pick the Graves, then they've got no lockdown.
Is Poppy a good champion here for T1, I wonder? I mean, into Kalista, you can really lock down the Kalista. Vi is another one that has good lockdown. Nocturne is something we've seen, but he doesn't have the follow-up.
Yeah,
I'm thinking something like Poppy here. The Graves is great, but you're playing 4 range champions again.
And they've done it before. T1 have been the team to play all damage, all range. It could fall on Zeus to be the melee, to be the front line though, with some CC setup.
Well, we do have the Sejuani banned away early on. That's one big tank. But we'll see which other they decide to lock in. The Gragas hover lasting for quite a while here, but there is still a little bit of time left on the clock. They will lock it in. It's Zeus on the Gragas.
Yeah, I think with Karma, you need some frontline there. I wouldn't be surprised to see an Ornn come out here from King, and Aatrox is removed from the equation. Double tank matchup. I worry for T1 with this Graves again because you're playing 4 range, but if you can punish early, then it will give you profit in the mid to late game. Of course, this champion can do a lot of damage, and they're playing with triple threat.
The meatballs have arrived at the World Finals, and now we get to see some of those big frontliners and huge engages.
And that means increased focus on the bottom lane, especially for DRX here, investing their picks in the Kalista. This Kalista has not fared well at Worlds. Have to play it aggressively, pairing it with the Renata from Barrel. I want to see how DRX game plan looks now because we already got the Faker versus Zeka mid lane matchup of the 26-year-old versus the young new hotness. And now it's looking at bottom lane here, Deft. 26-year-old on the other side versus Gumayushi, 20-year-old hotness as well.
Opposite sides, of course, from both respective veterans. Like
was absolutely dominant. In game number 2, DRX and D1, they had 1 dragon each at the very start. There wasn't that same level of, man, we're losing everything for DRX, and T1 is grouped up as 5 here at level 1.
Yeah, 5-man bot to get middle brush control. I expect them to either sweep or put a ward down here to make sure that the Varus Karma doesn't get any kind of cheese from the Kalista Renata, make sure that they can poke them out with things like the Mantra Q. They don't see anything yet, so they're going to walk their way into this bot side jungle, but they know that Deft is in the river, so T1 are first to bot brush, which helps the bot lane matchup level 1.
Yeah, of course. So much focus on this bottom lane in this draft with the big tanky boys on the top side. Especially when you have Graves too, Owner trying to get the early information. Defensive ward from DRX behind their red though, trying to see if there was any attempt at getting that invade.
DRX show themselves on the entrance. Owner is being a bit careful. They should know that there's a ward. And Gumayushi's playing with lethal tempo, so I expect him to go more towards an on-hit Varus build. We won't see a poke Varus come out. Normally you see things like Comet and Hail of Blades in that instance.
And it makes so much more sense this game, right? You don't want to have lethality versus the Ornn. You want to be able to chunk through the front line.
Well, alrighty, we're going to have a top-side start here for both of our junglers, which goes exactly like what you guys were expecting. Attention on the bottom lane. Junglers want to be pathing down here to see if they can interfere with this and make something happen.
And there's a commitment here of Zeus. Strong leash on the blue buff for Owner as well. So not only did Owner get Graves, he also gets the stronger leash, will be accelerated in his clear to try and slingshot down to that other side.
I'm curious what Pyosik decides to do. He's on Red Raptors. He's going to move towards bot side. Does he do a camp and gank mid and try to relieve pressure on Faker? That ward on the bot side jungle could help him look for an invade.
Alrighty, as we see how the lanes are going, remember to make sure to grab the exclusive Very Nasus Much Wow emote from Prime Gaming by connecting your League of Legends account with your Prime account. As Kingen has the push here in top side, Gumayushi and Keria have it in bottom, and Faker and Zeka are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, I would hypothesize that Pyosik would reverse clear up to the top side Scuttle Crab, because the bottom side pushing here with the Varus Karma means that it's so hard to fight over the bottom side Scuttle Crab, and it would be a little bit dangerous, but his sweeper doesn't see the ward.
Oh man, Pyosik walking right past it. He's gonna wait here in the brushes. Keria and Guma are staying up. Pyosik with a flash engage. It doesn't matter if they knew he was coming, they're still gonna grab first blood, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. Barrel now trying to get away, should be fine. The DRX Killer Instinct still comes out on top.
Great first blood for Def. You have to wonder if Gumayushi, he should have known that something like that was coming and maybe tried to react with the flash. Either way, it's a 1-for-1. Despite it being first blood to Def, I think this is actually good for T1, because look at his CS now, Def. He's lost a lot of that wave. It'll start to bounce into Gumayushi, and they traded 2 flashes, 3 summoner spells from DRX just for a heal for Gumayushi.
Yeah, T1, they saw him coming. They had the information. Guma still goes down to the forced gank there from Pyosik, and investing the flash as well could be troublesome for the jungle. Graves can be very abusive, going to harass the Viego. Faker, meanwhile, forces the teleport out of the Sylas in mid lane, and yes, of course, as we already know, did not quite catch it. And T1 are saying, get over here, Graves, right now. These are the comms. We're going to outplay him. But Pyosik was so quick with the flash, Guma did not react to it, and they just stand and they want to trade 1-for-1 instead. And with the Ignite going down, Keria gets the last hit there for the takedown. As you said, though, the wave meant a lot there as they're able to push it in, and they did get the kill.
Yeah, kill gold in DRX's favor, but wave state and summoner's blown is in T1's favor. So I think they'll be pretty happy with that kill when it's a Keria, which isn't the best, but can help in the early lane phase, has the early amp to try to poke them down. So now this wave state, we'll see how DRX plays it out, and we'll see what Pyosik does to try to help the bottom side of the map. Owner actually hasn't done his red buff yet, so he's probably going to move his way down there and should be first, but DRX facing a lot of vision disadvantage here. Pink ward, double ward in the river, including the crab, another pink ward. They need to clear all of that out.
They do have Kallista's little ghost walking around, trying to keep an eye on everything. Pyosik throwing out his own Krugs on the other side of the map. Owner finally going to pick up that red. Solo laners all at level 5, so we're getting close to that critical point where the ultimates are going to come online. Remember, there's no arrows or anything this time around to be stealing away there for Zeka, but he does have some incredibly powerful tools, like a Gragas ulti, like a Varus ulti, that with a full AP ratio can wreck a team fight.
And on the bottom lane, you see the power of the Varus Karma nullifying this Kalista pick. That poke from Keria with the Comet coming through, and Guma landing as well, continually forcing Deft and Barrel back towards their own side. Slow pushing wave here. When you slowly stack like this, T1 are actually creating their own mini objective, building up a big minion wave to then either bring Owner for a dive or force more losses from DRX.
And this is just going to be series breaking, really, isn't it? This is DRX's response to the Varus. If this doesn't work, then it's going to really suck when they go back towards red side. If this does go to a game 5, they need to break the Varus first pick and show that they have an answer right now, struggling. DRX normally like to start up these early Drakes. Owner knows it and he's hovering around. Pyosik has the level advantage. Owner not too far away from leveling up, but he's making sure his bot lane is safe.
Both junglers also on the same purchase and the same charges on the knife. So nobody has the enchanted smite yet. Nobody's really close. Pyosik going to throw down some of that mist. as he'll move forward, look to clear out a control ward, but with the lane control for Gumayusi and Keria, they are going to be able to keep that control ward alive. Zeka stealing away Faker's ulti, but they are both level 6, so it would be shuffle for shuffle if they decide to fight it.
Yeah, that right there is why Owner invested so much time and the control ward money to protect his bottom lane, to allow this to continue. Giant CS lead ballooning because of all that bottom lane attention. Zeka trying to solve some of the problem himself as well, though, reaching level 6 onto the Silas with the flash play as well.
That's the power of the mid push. Yes, you might lose 3v3 or 2v2, but if you have that extra number that can hover down, it just means it's very hard for them to push out the wave. They're going to use everything they have there, T1 bot lane on the wave, so DRX are just going to start up this dragon, try to secure it. Owner trading it for a crab.
Plus, you gotta love having Kalista for these neutral objectives. The extra power of the Rend plus Smite combo to work together and be able to take those down. Def knows that this is uncontested. He doesn't even have to stay there, so they can give that one over to Pioshik to Smite secure, and Def can make his way back down to the bottom lane to farm up as many minions as he can.
And you can see DRX's commitment to the game plan, commitment to their win condition of stacking the dragons. They give up more CS off of Def in order to secure that. Owner, meanwhile, as you said, he gets the crab as well as taking away the red buff. So 1 minion wave, 1 red buff, 1 crab, kind of the payment there.
Jungle and bot lane getting off to a great start here for T1. Mid lane's been very quiet, top lane as well. It's the next Herald that'll really decide how this early game pans out. 30 seconds on the spawn. Zeka, the ult was timing out, just gonna push the wave with it, can't catch Faker. And let's keep our eyes on Def and Beryl here because they're going to move towards this top side. Great body slam there by Zeus to interrupt the knockup, but it's going to be a 5v5 around this Herald, and Gumayusi is still on the bot side of the map. How much can T1 get for this Herald? Does DRX just take the Herald and use it top, try to funnel everything into Deft?
And remember, back in game 1, we got a 7-man fight at the Herald, but it resulted in the eyeball being unable to be picked up. I want to see both sides ready for a fight here. Ready for a big engage.
And look at the lane matchup. All you have to notice is that they are keeping Guma and Keria bottom, so it's going to be a hard push for T1 towards bottom tower plates. Just give up this Rift Herald and see how much money you can get off the other side of the map. Meanwhile, Owner also counter jungling off the blue quadrant. T1 trying to get as much as possible.
The race is on. DRX want to get this Herald quick and use it as fast as possible. TP there from Kingen to try to clear out the wave. Can they dive him? 3v1.
Kingen's down here, but Owner's ready to follow up and make it happen. The ulti from the Ornn used to clear out the wave as Owner's going to get jumped on. Zeka's ready to go. Owner with the dash back over the wall. He'll stay fine, but DRX will hold here in bottom.
Beryl lost his flash off screen. Zeus threw the ultimate at him and tried to knock him under the tower, so the Renata doesn't have flash. Deft isn't level 6, but Pioshik is around. He's taking the blue buff right now by the looks of it, and they can't get any plates, so they need to place this as soon as possible because T1 are currently winning.
Okay, Beryl. Okay, Deft. Let's see how much money you can get up here against Zeus' Gragas. At bottom lane, the plates are still just being hammered by Gumayusi and Keria. As T1 winning the race, Pioshik's coming top. Can DRX make the dive happen? Gragas would be the target, and he's a pretty tanky guy. Pioshik's going to step forward here, connects with the Spectral Maw, but Deft's just going to be able to chase him away. Zeus tanky enough to not die here. All they got to do is take down plate number 3. The Herald will be able to finish off the last 2. Deft and Beryl, that's not quite enough. Nope. It will not die to this.
They can't get the tower.
The charge, there it goes, okay. The turret's still standing. Zeus, however, is not, and Pioshik will grab the kill.
He was focusing so heavily on trying to deny the turret that he gives up his life, and DRX aren't done.
Oh, but bottom side, it's T1 also trying to hard force here for this turret. We're still 4 minutes away from plates dropping. It's not like these things are going to become squishier anytime soon. Pioshik will grab the crowd as Owner makes his way into the top side river. Pioshik should just be able to get over the wall there. Has to use flash to do it, though.
Ultimate on cooldown, had to use it to kill Zeus. T1 still pressuring this bot side. No jungler or mid hovering. Kingen has no ultimate either. T1 really want to get this bot tower, but no ultimate on Gumayusi. Might need to take a base soon. Has a lot of gold in his inventory. Overall, slightly even, but T1 favored because of how long it took for DRX to set up. Will they get the tower?
Oh, almost! They get it! And Kingen has to flash away as well.
Definitely T1 favorite then.
Yeah, huge amount of money on Gumayusi, and there you see it. In graph form at the top of the charts, and of course he is going the on-hit build as we said. So going to be able to chunk through this front line, all these melee champions, this short range of DRX.
Kingan's going to be late to top because he was holding bot side, so Zeus will get another plate. Faker's having constant mid push. He's taken a plate. They're slowly bleeding out here, DRX. They're trying their best to speed the game up. Dragon's in 50 seconds.
Dragon in 50 seconds, a 2,000 gold lead while being down a single kill just shows you how much has been built by T1, getting all these plates, getting all this money, and getting nearly double the farm in the AD carry position. Gumayusi, 113. Deft at 68 here on the Kalista. This is not the early game you want when you draft this champion.
Now take a look at the setup for this Dragon. Number 2 arriving. Stacking is kind of critical here for them to continue. See how much they can commit to it. Control ward already placed in the Pixel Brush, trying to set up for it. It's very difficult though with bottom lane already having outer tower down. T1 can just push through this bottom side and get the early move for a possible flank.
And T1 have the TP as well, so DRX need to look for a pick. That ward could find it, but the Uproar Glaive will spot it out. They don't have vision on Gumayusi, so they have to catch the wave. And like you talked about, push in bots, move towards river. Faker has mid push. Zeus is first and has TP.
Yeah.
DRX are going to have to give this up.
Well, the silver lining for DRX is that this is the second Drake of the game, and they got the first. So T1 will not be fast stacking towards a soul, but they will tie up that neutral objective as the Cloud winds quicken, and we get ourselves a Cloud soul here in game number 3. Zeka just trying to clear out the waves here in mid. 1.5 minutes left to get more plate money, which T1 has been doing a really good job of here so far. Zeka tries to jump in and go after Faker. No E2 means he won't be able to follow it up with the stolen shuffle. Carry is hanging around nearby, as are Pioshik and Barrel. Faker with the flash away. Zeka with the flash follow to throw Faker back into his own team. But now Zeka stands alone. He'll try to get himself away, and Barrel provides covering fire. Zeka with a re-engage back after Carrier, and Zeka will finally die to the arrow of Gumayusi. Now you gotta look at Zeus, who there's just not enough damage to take him down. It's mid for mid, 1 for 1, but Pioshik is trying to get away behind enemy lines. Another engage comes out here in mid. Gumayusi with the chains of corruption onto Kingan. A flash miss comes out of the arrow, and Gumayusi is punished. The bailout will not save Kingan. It is another 1 for 1. Barrel and Deft ready to fight back as Oner gets shunned up. There's the maw, there's the kill, there's the money in Deft's pocket.
Pioshik never recalled. He ran into the enemy jungle and hid there, lying in wait, choosing his time correctly to strike. He takes down Oner. They get the extra kill for DRX in that scramble.
And he came back for revenge, didn't he, Pioshik? It's a 3-for-2 overall in favor of DRX. Zeka lived for so long, so it took T1 so much time to get him down that the rest of DRX arrived. Great land of a skill shot here by Zeka. Faker can't get the sidestep. They both push each other back, but Faker dies fast because Pioshik can dash over the wall with his ultimate. Zeka kites into the hostile takeover. Looks like he's gonna live. And as Zeus comes down, he re-engages onto Carrier, and here with the barrel he's gonna live, but it's just Gumayusi's last auto attack that finds that kill. But by the time he falls, the rest of DRX arrives.
Exactly, and then look at the mini-map. You've got Callisto all the way over here, only now starting to run, and Pioshik in the mini-map cancels this recall, waiting. As soon as the fight starts again, goes in for it.
It's the overchase actually, isn't it? Gumayusi tries to get Kingan down, and Deft arrives in time because of this overchase. T1 forcing a bit too hard, and DRX fight back. Oner, no flash. Pioshik stays around. They land the stun, they get the kill.
The patience out of Pioshik there as Deft gets hit by the ulti. Has to retreat a little. Hostile takeover, a really good disengage. But Kingan and Deft still got to get the hell out of town. Pioshik and Zeka, in the meantime, have taken the second Herald of the game.
Yeah, that was an incredibly big cooldown here. The flash off Gragas, the Gragas flash engage used onto Deft. They only got the cleanse. No kill secured for T1 there. And remember, Zeus is the last piece of this composition. He is the critical playmaker. It has to be the Gragas. And without the flash, those big surprise plays.
Faker, no flash.
Here comes the Ornhorn, finds the knockup. Zeka with a little bit of follow-up CC, but that turret standing at 2% health saves Faker's life.
Yeah, Zeka didn't have the ult up in time to take Faker's, and I think he thought he was going to get pushed back if he went in. Don't know if he had information on Oner either, but they force Faker back, and their objective is the top tower, which they will pick up. So in these last few minutes, DRX have been winning the skirmishes, and these kills on Deft have negated the gold lead that Gumayusi had from the plates in the tower.
Yeah, so a little bit of small advantages now as DRX looking like Zeka pushing on top side. 2 hits, 1 hit even will finish that tower off, and then they still hold on to Rift Herald #2 for their push. Ideally, they could try and get a setup here for mid to push down that mid tower and allow them much more control of Summoner's Rift.
The Umbral Glaive on the Graves, obvious first item. They go for it every time. Owner working on that Gore Drinker there for the second to give him that ability to jump into this largely melee team and just be a threat. Meanwhile, on the other side, 2-0-2 for Pioshix Viego in his 3rd game of 3 playing it in this series.
Yeah, specifically that Glaive turning off the vision and finding wards combined with a zombie ward talent there from Owner leads to this balloon and vision score so that he's got even more than the supports.
Yeah. Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. Gold is almost dead even in their last 4 games in summer against each other. DRX and T1. Normally T1 at 14 towards 20 minutes. They have a 1 to 2,000 gold lead. In this series, DRX have held their own. And by the mid-game, they are pretty even or normally ahead. So DRX testing mid-waves. Dragon in 15. Pioshix chunks Owner out, but I think with Zeus being in the pit, they're just going to start it up as it spawns.
And one big difference here with the AD carries, it's fully completed Rage Blade to just the Rage Knife on Death.
Yeah.
So a lot of advantage here for Guma.
And that's the power of the farm lead. That's the power of the control they had in that bottom lane matchup. Gumayusi trying to fire out some arrows. Remember, with a DPS build, the arrows aren't going to hit nearly as hard as we saw last game.
T1 didn't start the Dragon, so DRX could just push this mid-wave in and look to try to herald to force and engage.
Ornhorn's ready to go. However, they aren't going to find what they're looking for. Kingen tries to get away now. The bailout won't save them. T1 are just ready to respawn and outplay. Beryl continues retreating. He's under a lot of threat. The Berserk down into the unkillable Demon King, and he dies here today. Zeka looking to keep the charge going, and DRX 4v5 have already found 2. Zeus looks like a pin cushion as Death may have overreached. He barely came alive, and Beryl has single-digit HP.
Against all the odds, every time DRX somehow find a way through, and they somehow seem to pull it off. Faker going a little bit too deep there, despite getting the kill onto King, and Death and Beryl living on a slither of HP.
Oh, the slimmest of margins there for the DRX bottom lane, but it is Faker who steps too far forward and gets punished immediately from DRX.
Zeka takes away the Varus ult. Drake's still up. Faker's just TP back towards the bot lane. Everyone's running in for round 2. They don't want to give this objective up. DRX's Herald is timing out soon, so Pioshix will place it in mid. Gumayusi needs to clear out the wave. No ultimate up just yet. 4T1, only Zeus's.
Yeah, exactly. Keep your eyes on Zeus. His flash is back for the Gragas, so he's going to be looking for the engage on Deft. No summoner spells for Kalista.
And Def needs to join the fight soon. He's clearing out bot wave, but Zeus might just force it. Pioshix has to flash.
Pioshix flashed over the wall. He's all right, but no ulti, no flash on the jungler. T1 with control over the mid lane. Zeka steals the chains, finds a little damage. Owner chunked to half, but it's still control over this neutral territory in the map here for T1. You can see pings coming out onto the Drake. They're going to move over to the objective, and you can see DRX has no interest in contesting. They're not in any shape to do it. It's only second Drake of the game for T1. Or is it? DRX walking up now, seeing if there's anything to find. Ornn ulti's ready to go again. They knock Zeus up into the air, but you can't just commit onto the tank.
They're too late.
Pioshix has his ulti ready to go again. That ult from Zeus isn't going to go
Beryl!
over the wall.
Oh my
Beryl, the hero, but Faker, the god, survived.
Beryl almost kills the unkillable Demon King. That could have been a huge swing in favor of DRX with Baron spawning in 10, but he just gets out.
Faker, true to his name this time around, survives the engage. Here's a look at how it all started, though, on to Guma, and then it was the pick on the front line.
Owner?
Oh, Owner trying to do something here, but he ain't gonna find it. 30 seconds until the T1 jungler respawns. Mid lane tier 1 gonna die now too.
I don't think they can go towards Baron. Sylas is so low, Beryl is as well. They have no wards left. They're just gonna take a base with that pick, but DRX's pace of the game is so quick. T1 are struggling to keep up. They're playing Varus and Azir, and they want to scale with these somewhat immobile carries, whereas DRX just want to keep the skirmishes going with Kalista and Sylas.
Yep, this short-range team from DRX wanting to try and dogpile onto T1. finding some scrappy plays for themselves.
And we've talked so much about how DRX has this edge versus Graves, where you have Piosik willing to lock Kindred against it. But Piosik's confidence with the Viego into the Graves, into this matchup, 2, 0, and 5. Kill participation in all but one of those kills. Honestly, having a great time here on this pick, making it look good as T1 group is 4 to push down mid lane. Tier 1 Turbid on the other side is still standing. Orin ulti's not going to find anything but the wave. Faker and Gumayushi having to back up a little bit. Zeus on the flank, but there's no wave, there's no play.
The last couple of games we've been seeing carry tops, which means you have also side laners. This game is tanked, so it's a lot of grouping, a lot of fights. Zeka will root up Owner, who will dash away, and it just turns into this 5v5. Neither team has any real side lane pressure.
And as the game gets deeper and deeper, you start to see more of an advantage to the team with the extra range here, with Faker and Guma especially. But it's all about the timing of the engage for DRX.
Beryl did not time that right. They wanted to use hostile takeover on an overcommitment, but T1 read the play, and T1 are 5v4.
Yeah, you can see the angle Beryl is looking for, right? The surprise ultimate over the top because they need a split-second engage, but Owner jumps on him, knows he has no flash from the last time around.
DRX keep trying to throw spells at T1 to try to force a fight, but T1 aren't getting sucked into it. An Ornold comes out, they back away. A hostile takeover, they tried to punish the mistake. DRX are, I think they're panicking a bit around these mid-waves, saying that they need to force the engages, and T1 are just playing at such a range that they can't get the angle.
Exactly, exactly. Faker and Guma standing from afar, playing defensively here, and when you have that Karma move speed too from Keria supporting those long-range carries, they're able to keep safe until they don't. When you see a team like this DRX comp explode and win, it is all at once when they get that big engage and completely collapse the opponent team.
All right, let's take another look at how it happened with Beryl's attempted surprise.
So there was a blue orb that went over the wall a second ago as Beryl killed it. So Owner knew he was there and was looking for that play. Despite there was a pink on the ward, Owner gets the kill onto Beryl. We've seen it already around the first dragon, the second dragon, sorry. They keep forcing these engages. Kingen will be fine. Beryl's around. Piosik's taking a base. We'll see if Zeka tries to cross-map the tower.
Tier 1 turret and topside ain't long for this world. Owner and Faker will work together to take that down. They're going to build T1 back up to a very, very modest gold lead. But Zeka's about to get one back just as you said.
And he has TP, so if T1 stay around for too long, once this tower dies, Zeka can TP in and they can look for the 5v5. Here he comes!
All right, TP ready to go for DRX. Piosik had to ult defensively. There's the shuffle, getting DRX away. They're getting juggled around a lot, but Faker's alone. Piosik finds him. Faker is down, and Zeka gets the kill. What's next for DRX? They've got a stolen Azir ulti. T1 grouping back up in the top side. They know their opponents may be looking for the Baron.
30 seconds on Faker, he has TP. Does DRX start Baron? Beryl has no flash, no ultimate. Zeka has the shuffle though. He has no flash, but he's looking for T1 lying in wait. They know he's there. They have started it up. T1 need to find a response soon. 15 seconds on Faker.
T1 ready to go. Trying to see if there's an angle. DRX are in the pit, but this is so risky. Owen's ready to try to fight, ready to try to steal. Beryl at 200 HP. Baron at 4,000. Zeka ready to use the stolen ulti. He throws Owner away. The Baron is stolen by Owner in a hero moment. The shutdown of the Piosik. And T1 get it done. Hot pursuit as Beryl will die to Faker.
As the entire world holds their breath, watching, Owner steals the Baron away from the Rend Smite combination. He does it again. He stole the dragon. He steals the Baron. Owner smites are sick.
DRX though, Kingen might be in trouble. Zeus looking for Zeka's on the way.
Nicely done from Keria and from Zeus. Death is just gonna give him another as DRX crumble around the smite steal.
T1 are running away with it now. That's 4 kills despite losing Faker at the start and DRX forcing that Baron. Owner is showing up in this series with the smites against Kalista and the smites from Piosik. They didn't time it properly and he sneaks his way in despite Zeka trying his best to keep him out.
Oh my goodness. All right, Piosik fishing around. They want to make something?
They might just find it. Piosik flashing out of the Azir ulti, staying alive. But man, this game went from neck and neck to T1 stepping on DRX. There is no way to deal with it when Owner is this damn good.
This steal from Owner could be one of the defining factors that makes him win his first World Championship.
And it's similar to the one on Dragon. Zeka this time steals away Azir ult, he pushes him away, and he just flashes over the Azir wall, still gets in there. You always talk about syncing up the timing, picking a number with your Kalista. We smite and rend at whatever, 1500, 1800, but Owner gets in there right in between, flashing over the Azir wall, actually insane stuff under high pressure.
A lot of people talk about if T1 win here, it's Faker's fourth, but it's also the first and the beginning of such a strong legacy for players like Owner and Zeus. Keria and Gumayusi so young with such a long career ahead of them. This could be the first step in being so dominant and staple names in League of Legends like Faker.
And I love that story so much because T1 trusted in their own amateur program, in their own youth programs, bringing up these players.
But DRX is ready to go. Kingen with the ulti. They're going to look for Gumayusi, but they're going to find Zeus. Half HP here on the Gragas. They fall back to the ruins of the tier 2. T1 confident to hold their lines. DRX's engage fails. They will protect their tier 3 turret, but just barely. And another wave is on the way.
Yeah, Baron buff wave coming in. Summoners blown from Gumayusi, but no ultimates left. Zeka needs to take a Gragas ult or something along those lines if they want to fight this. Giving it up is not the end of the world either. Takes the Varus ult. Does he decide to throw it out, or does he hold on to it till the next couple waves come in on mid lane? Bot and it falls.
They find Zeus there with the chains. Locking him up with the Everfrost now too, but they gotta be careful. You don't want to engage on the big man, and that means one inhibitor over to the side of T1 thanks to that Baron that Owner stole.
Owner. Funny origin with his name as well. When he joined T1 and was brought up through the program, he had so much respect for the T1 organization. He wanted his name to be Oner, like T1. But everyone just started calling him Owner instead, and that became his name. Full respect, full commitment to this organization, and really paying them back.
Definitely owning this game as well, despite a couple of hiccups in the early to mid game of Pyosik getting the better hand. That one smite just turned the entire tide of the way the jungle role has been playing out. Now the siege will come in through top. The next objective for T1 is this tier 2. Pyosik getting caught on the recall.
Oh, Pyosik, I don't think this is where you should be, buddy. Zeus on the chase. Pyosik still trying to get away. Juggled back by the Gragas ulti. And it should be nothing but the cleanup here. Faker gets a kill. 5v4 for 40 seconds for T1.
T1 will break open this top inhibitor. You have to imagine DRX could use the Ornal to try to clear out the wave because there's no more Baron buff. And this tier 2 will fall. How much will they press the advantage? So with that numbers down for DRX, 25 seconds left on the Viego.
Tier 3 turret getting pushed, but there's no Baron buff. It means DRX can actually clear these waves out. They can hold the line. Owner already has another one prepped and ready to go here in mid, but again, DRX can clear these. The turrets will take a little bit of damage. They'll suffer the poke, but they'll hold on.
Yeah, with this composition, DRX have to choose their moment so wisely to go all in. They have to wait for Pyosik to revive, and then you find a flank with Zeka. He's got teleport right now, or an ultimate, and fully commit to the play. That's why they felt so pressured. You can see it from their eyes, from their angle on that Baron play. After they got the pick onto Faker, they're thinking, we are going to get outscaled. We're so short range. We have to commit to a Baron play, and they think they've got the advantage with the Rend, but not the case, and they have to pull out an amazing one now.
They do, and it comes down to this Dragon. Soul for T1, 25 seconds on the spawn. DRX didn't lose the top inhib, so they can find their way in. Double TP's up, but there's no wards in the bot side jungle. Rabadon's finished for Zeka. And Deft has evened up the items against Gumayusi. Only a stopwatch is the difference. DRX trying to find an angle into this river. Bot side looks like their best bet. No mid push for them. Need to be careful though. Zeus here, stepping up, dashes away. See Deft trying to push out this bot wave so they can find their way into this river. But T1 are trying to keep this mid push so they can threat an inhibitor.
Yep, Faker done this before for T1. They're trying to pull them apart. Inhibitor down on the bottom side, and Faker shoving up mid.
Well, we've got a 4v3 standoff here in mid right now. Owner gonna join up, Faker gonna join up. Everybody's here except Zeka. He just now hits level 16. Barrel is zoned away from the rest of the team, but he might be able to find a takeover angle. Owner again, looking for that Renata, looking for the opportunity to blow him up. A TP's coming in, but it's coming in pretty late. They try to go in, but it's gonna be the objective bounty for the side of DRX. They go for Zeus, they're gonna find a ton of damage. Owner's focused down, he goes golden, but he ain't gonna live long.
Piosik, he steals it back for DRX. They get the objective bounty shutdown, and then Owner ultimate the wrong way. DRX, now they can go for Baron.
Stop doubting them. They always find a way. TP coming in from King in 5v4. 35 seconds on Owner and Beryl. That hostile takeover was beautiful. Keria trying to find a little bit of vision. They have no smite though. Can Gumayusi steal it? Eyes on Zeus.
Alrighty, let's do it. Zeus is gonna have to disrupt a lot here. Keria looking to zone Beryl away. Def pulls him right back to
Faker!
safety. Ingen is ready to go for Faker, and they find him. Deft again will kill Faker with the Baron, but Zeka dies to the Baron auto. T1 is fighting back. The Baron still at 3,000 HP.
The smite?
Deft looking to go. No way in the world. Deft dies next. Gumayusi just stole Baron.
Are you kidding me? Guma does it again.
How?
He did it last time with the Varus as well. Empowered Varus snipe.
It's over. I think T1 can look to end. 30 seconds on Def. Waves coming in. Bottom's down. They're pushing. One Nexus tower left.
This game will be defined by two. Baron steals. Kingen tries to get him as much time as they can. Nice hostile takeover onto 3, but it will not be enough. Beryl is knocked back. Kingen trying to frontline this, but T1 knows what they gotta go for. They're looking for the Nexus. They'll take it down, and T1 are on match point.
I cannot believe it. Twice in a row, Piosik. One was against the Smite, but Gumayusi steals it. They had Kalista and the Smite both times. This is heartbreak for DRX.
Get me a replay of that second Baron right now. Get me that right now. I need to see that. My goodness. DRX. They are now going to face another elimination game in the year where they have had to face so many elimination games. The perennial underdogs must do it again.
They always have heartbreaking moments in every series, but this one stings so much. The amount of pressure that is on these players now in this Game 4 is unreal.
At the very least, this year has prepared DRX for these moments. The strong mentality to deal with the inhibitor respawning, still coming back with a reverse sweep. They have gone through so much together. They trust each other so much. They have to calm down and reset for the next game. But T1, my goodness.